Are you looking for an elite home arcade experience? Well, get ready for my in-depth review of the Retro-Cade Elite Pedestal featuring the 40TB Arcade One Premium PC connected to my 65-inch OLED TV with notable upgrades such as the 43-inch Hyper Marquee, gold leaf buttons, and LED Blinky to name a few. You can play your favorite arcade games growing up, console and PC games with controller or joystick and buttons, plug and play light gun support for aim tracks, Sindens, Gun for IR, and Reapers, along with a dedicated racing games wheel that's plug and play with the G29 racing wheel, and so much more. So sit back and enjoy. I attended the Chicago Pinball Expo in 2023 with a group of friends and stumbled upon the Retro-Cade booth, where I met Ed and Josh, the owners of Retro-Cade, and discussed the possibility of ordering a pedestal from them after seeing their pull-out drawer, which I thought was a fantastic design and easily the best I've seen on the market while shopping around. At the time, Josh and Ed were in the early prototype phase of creating a pedestal, so I told them I'd be in touch. Fast forward to the Southern Fried Gaming Expo in summer of 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia, where some friends and I attended and once again stopped by the Retro-Cade booth where they had an updated prototype of the Elite Pedestal with my custom artwork that I had been tinkering with. Shout out to Willie in the Arcade One Facebook group, the proud owner of this prototype, and to the Rimmers for being generous hosts for our stay in Atlanta. What is Retro-Cade? Well, I reached out to the owners, Josh and Ed, to see what they had to say.
Our tagline is that we are a custom arcade manufacturer. So we make and sell custom arcade cabinets.
If you go to their website, retrocade.com, you'll see all their unique cabinet designs, made in the USA using high-quality birch plywood with customizable artwork UV printed directly onto the materials. There are various options including 2-player, 4-player, gun cabinets, as well as pedestals, and there's budget-friendly classic line all the way up to the premium elite line, with plenty of optional upgrades in between. Delivery and unboxing. How long does it take to get a Retro-Cade?
Current build time is around 16 to 18 weeks. We always try and beat that. Right now we're running at about 10 weeks, but it really varies depending on the year. Around November, right around Christmas time, it'll be insane. We always try and keep up when people are like, "Oh, that's such a long time." All of our cabinets are built by hand. Everything here, we build everything in-house, but they are all built by hand here. This is not an assembly line. They are all handmade for an individual. These are not just pieces thrown together. This is made for somebody. I'd love to speed it up, but we can't do that and still have a quality, high-end product.
I put my deposit down in late November 2024 and paid the cabinet off by the middle of December 2024 and received my machine April 17th, 2025. The Elite Pedestal arrived strapped firmly to a pallet on a private shipping company's truck. The total weight with the pallet was 450 pounds. There was also a notice telling me not to sign for the shipment until I've inspected everything thoroughly for damages. The driver was patient with me as I cut open the protective wrap to take a look. He was even very impressed with the cabinet and even asked me a question, does it play Pac-Man? After inspecting the shipment, I signed off, got the Elite Pedestal moved into my garage, and had a couple friends come over that night to help me move it into the basement. This thing is built solid, so make sure you plan accordingly, as my shipper wasn't allowed to move it into the house without setting that up ahead of time and for an additional charge. While the control panel is removable, I ended up leaving it on and it fit through my 35-inch front door just fine, and then through my 31-inch basement door after I removed the door from the hinges. We did remove the PC and the back panel to cut down on the weight to make it easier to carry throughout the house. Just make sure you take pictures of where all the plugins go so you get everything plugged back in the way it's supposed to go. And while I do not have speakers or a subwoofer in this, since I have a soundbar mounted to my TV, if I did, I would definitely consider taking those out as well, because any weight that you can cut out will definitely help moving this thing because it's very heavy. Quick cabinet overview. And here's the Elite Pedestal placed downstairs in the barcade. I'm going to do a quick overview of the cabinet, but I'm going to go into more depth on these features later on in this video. The width of the pedestal is 47 inches wide by 48 inches tall and about 29 inches deep, if you're thinking about those doorways. The pedestal is built with 3/4-inch 9-ply Baltic birch plywood with black laminate on both sides, where the UV artwork is printed directly onto the material with their new UV printer that the Retro-Cade guys bought in early 2025. An optional upgrade that you can get on your Retro-Cade that I would strongly recommend considering is the full acrylic control panel, as well as the acrylic front panels, as this not only makes your artwork really pop, it seals everything off and it should protect that artwork for years to come. Another nice feature about the Retro-Cade, how they do their control panel, is they hide all those unwanted screws. To give you a comparison, on my previous Game Room Solutions cabinet, you can see how dust can get under this top cover, and it's very hard to clean out without taking it apart, unscrewing all these screws, and taking apart all the joystick and buttons just to get under there and clean everything properly. Whereas on the Retro-Cade, if you do happen to get some dust or fingerprints on the control panel or on the front panel where the acrylic is, you can easily wipe it off with a fiber cloth and keep everything nice and tidy and looking great. For the control panel, I had a very specific button layout in mind. I wanted 4 players, 8 buttons each, all with the Scantron 5K button layout. So that way I can play all the old games and the new games up to 4 players without sacrificing any buttons. What is the Scantron 5K button layout? And what's so special about it? Well, I asked Scan to see what he had to say.
Endgame Arcade, what's up? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be able to explain my layout and why I did it. And I want to say thanks to you and the guys at Retro-Cade for reaching out for my blessing to use this layout on your machine and call it by its true name. Let's get into the nerd stuff and talk about why this layout is taking the arcade world by storm. And I wanted to make a layout that was conducive to all forms of arcade play, which is why I went with the standard 3-button row on the top and buttons 4, 5, and 6 right below, making it blanketable for all thousands and thousands of 3-button arcade games without losing your hand placement. And then the second row, 6 buttons, making it nice and even and playable for all forms of games that you love, like Killer Instinct, Street Fighter, so on and so forth, but also keeping buttons 7 and 8 out of the way, down below, doubling as a thumb and pinky button, or easily making it your run button in Mortal Kombat, or how about L1, L2 trigger buttons and things that newer console games are using. That's why the 8-button layout is a must, but it keeps those pesky 7 and 8s out of the way, and you have a beautiful layout that keeps your hand placement over all of it. For one, ergonomic style to cover all arcade games, and it is a dope layout. Well, that was weird as hell. Back to you, Endgame.
I appreciate the detailed breakdown of the Scantron 5K button layout, and I can't wait to check it out for myself. Make sure you check out the link in the description below to Scantron 5K's YouTube channel for some quality content, including arcades, V-pins, digital frames, reviews, and so much more. As for the buttons themselves, I went with the Gold Leaf button upgrade package and added the LED Blinky functionality to them so they'll light up for each of the games. For the joysticks, I wanted Euro-IL joysticks for a more stiff, precise control for all 4 players. I also have an RGB Ultimark trackball for trackball games, where you can play all the old school arcade trackball games, as well as some of the newer Teknoparrot subscription trackball games. I added a spinner so I can access all the MAME spinner genre wheel games, and I even added the optional upgrade of the Stream Deck for added functionality. And a nice touch by Retro-Cade is that they print the artwork directly onto the Stream Deck cover for you. Retro-Cade has numerous signature features that make them stand out from other cabinet makers, including this custom-built 43-inch Hyper Marquee, which I'm going to spotlight later on in this video. For my Game Room Solution cabinet, I store all of my accessories, including my controllers, Wiimotes, and light guns, in these storage totes, which do get the job done, but it can be messy with all these cables. But for the Retro-Cade Elite line, it offers an elegant pull-out drawer solution that's easy to open and close and stores all of your accessories conveniently in one location. And it's a showpiece for the cabinet, in my opinion. Depending on which accessories you want, your drawer will look a little different, but mine includes a wireless keyboard for quick PC access, Wiimotes and nunchucks for the Nintendo Wii game support, wireless Xbox Series X controllers with 8-bit-though USB adapters for any games that you need the controllers for, Sinden recoil light guns to play those light gun games, and since I've upgraded to the RGB control panel and drawer, a remote is provided to easily change the colors to your liking. Another Retro-Cade signature feature is the 5-panel kick panel front, where you can customize your artwork for each panel for that unique look. Just like I did with mine, where each panel I focused on one of my favorite game series, a larger character on top, and a smaller scene on the bottom. The panels do stagger outward for that impressive 3-dimensional look, There is an optional upgrade to add RGB lighting onto the side of each of these front panels, which I'm sure looks great. There is also a convenient USB extender to plug in your light guns, guitars, racing wheel peripherals, and anything else you might need them for. The center panel slides open for easy access for my Arcade One Premium PC and USB hub, as well as it could provide extra storage inside if you need it. You can add customizable artwork onto the side panels and the back panel for no additional charge. I decided to go with the Metal Gear Solid theme on the side panels because it's one of my favorite franchises, and the first game is one of my favorite games of all time. And while the artwork looks fantastic on the side panels and the back panels, at the time that I ordered mine, there was not an option to add the full acrylic to these panels, only the front panel and the control panel. I do hope they add that as a future option because I think it'd look amazing to have the entire cabinet wrapped in that full acrylic. The back panel is completely removable to access everything inside the cabinet, which I'll show you. There's 2 screws at the top. Just note this panel is heavy and there are some cords connected to it. And while you can power on your PC in the front through the sliding front panel, I requested an external power button to be placed on the back for even easier access. And as we scroll down this back panel, you'll notice that I have this Mass Effect Trilogy artwork, one of my favorite video game series. There's 2 ports at the bottom, one for the provided 8K HDMI cable that plugs directly into your TV and then into this port, and then the power cable that plugs into this port and into the wall. Even though the pedestal is very heavy, if you do need to move it, there are no wheels underneath, but it does move pretty easily on a wood floor with that T-molding on the bottom side. I can move it all by myself and it doesn't seem to damage the wood. Another nice feature of the control panel is that you can lift up from the front for easy access inside your control panel. You can see all the wire management for the joystick and buttons, as well as LED blinking. While you can get a servo stick on your Retro-Cade that automatically changes your joystick from 8-way directions to 4-way directions, which is perfect for games like Miss Pac-Man, I decided I'd rather have all 4 players with my Euro IL sticks. The optional spinner, your trackball, and the optional stream deck are also wired directly into the iPacks. If something would happen to come loose during shipping, you can check here first and see if everything's plugged in properly into the appropriate iPack. And since I upgraded to the full RGB control panel and drawer, there are these additional LED strips in my control panel that are controlled by the remote control that's in that pull-out drawer. You can easily change the colors to these, which I'll show later in this video, to any color that you want. And those pre-cut holes right there are for side pinball buttons if you would like to add them to your Retro-Cade and play all the great pinball tables on your Arcade One PC. And there's a look inside the control panel. Everything's there, easy to access in case you ever do have an issue or need to swap anything out on your own. After removing the 2 screws, I carefully removed the back panel itself so you can see what's behind it. The external power button has a wire that plugs into the back of the PC, as you can see with that yellow connector down there. There are additional HDMI and power cables coming from the back panel ports, which I showed earlier. The HDMI cable plugs into the back of the PC, and when it's powered on, it should be your display 1, while the power cable plugs into one of the 2 power strips. This additional HDMI cable goes from the PC to the custom Marquee. When the PC is powered on, this should be your display 2. If you would ever need access to the Hyper Marquee, you could remove these screws and tinker with it. I'm not sure how easy or hard that is, but it is available if you need it. And then below the Hyper Marquee is actually the backside of the inside of the control panel that I just went through with you. You can see through it and you can see all the different iPacks and wires, the LED blinky and everything all connected together and being fished out this hole on the left side with all of the USBs going directly into the PC or this USB hub attached to the side wall. The power cables all have these power bricks also attached to the cabinet, and the plugs themselves go into one of 2 power strips. The USB hub does have some openings for additional controllers, the Dolphin sensor bar for the Wii, external hard drive, or other USB devices, each with their own on-off switch. I personally have an external hard drive and my Dolphin bar currently plugged in, as well as some additional controllers. There's plenty of room inside the cabinets for speakers and a sub for those who decide to purchase the sound package upgrade. There are various Arcade One PC options depending on what you're looking for, including budget-friendly all the way up to premium PCs. This one's an i7 11700K with 16 gigabytes of RAM and packing 40 terabytes worth of content. And that covers the quick overview. Now we're going to plug in the power cable, plug in the HDMI cable, and we're going to power on the pedestal to see what it's all about. TV, sound, and GOVEE RGB. A big perk of owning a pedestal is that you can hook it up to any size TV and you're not locked into that size. You can upgrade it over time. I purchased an LG 65 class B2 series OLED 4K and mounted it onto the wall. I ran the cables through the back of the wall and into the back of the TV. The sound I run through an LG 5.1.3 channel soundbar with wireless subwoofer and featuring Dolby Atmos and DTS:X sound. I currently have a wireless subwoofer in the corner of the Barcade, and it sounds fantastic. Although if you prefer to have it inside of your pedestal cabinet, there is room for it. If you prefer to have the speakers pre-installed in your pedestal, Retro-Cade has a standard and upgrade sound package on their website. I also added these GOVEE RGB backlights to the back of my TV that you can change to whatever color you want, or they can change automatically to whatever's happening on screen, and it looks absolutely stunning. If you want to know more about this, check out my video link in the description below, where I go over the entire product and the process of installing it. All of this is definitely overkill for most retro games, but I wanted to have my setup future-proof to be able to play all the most modern Steam games on my pedestal. You can always use your own current setup and then upgrade later when the desired setup goes on sale, or Retro-Cade has some amazing sound systems with an upgrade package that includes 2 6x9 speakers and a 10-inch subwoofer. What are some popular Retro-Cade upgrades?
I'd say the most popular is the Hyper Marquee, followed fairly closely by the Stream Deck, both of which are really awesome upgrades.
The acrylic top.
Right.
Almost every cabinet.
The acrylic top,
The glossy.
all of the aesthetic stuff people love, just because if you're going to spend that kind of money, why not make it look awesome?
Acrylic RGB control panel and drawer. I upgraded to the full acrylic RGB control panel and drawer. This is what the control panel looks like in the dark with just LED blinky buttons, but with the press of the button, the entire control panel and drawer can light up. I currently have the light set to white so you can see the artwork as it's originally intended, but you can easily change the color of the lighting to any color that you'd like with the supplied remote control. You can get some pretty dramatic color effects going on with your artwork as well, so keep that in mind when you're designing your artwork. You can also dim the light intensity if it's too bright for you or your guests, or you can make a statement and pump that brightness up to the max. If you have a favorite color that you like to game to, or are trying to match the color of your control panel and drawer to the specific game that you're playing, you sure can with the press of a button or the swipe of your thumb. I would strongly recommend getting at least the acrylic coating on your control panel, as it looks very nice and does offer that extra layer of protection. The full acrylic RGB control panel and drawer that I have isn't cheap, but it is a standout feature for those fans of RGB lighting. Hyper Marquee. When I spoke to Ed and Josh in Chicago, I mentioned that I'd like to have a Hyper Marquee added to the back of my pedestal since I didn't have room above my TV. They said they'd work on some designs and get back to me, and boy did they deliver. This custom 43-inch Hyper Marquee built directly into the cabinet not only gives off a premium quality feel to it, but it looks absolutely stunning in person. The resolution is 3840 by 720, and when the marquees are built at that resolution, they look gorgeous. The marquee artwork changes when you flip through the different system and game wheels. Pick a game, fire it up, and play all while the marquee showcases the game that you're playing. Certain games like Golden Tee can even benefit by having additional instructions, such as the different swing techniques. The Hyper Marquee is easily my favorite upgrade on the Retro-Cade pedestal. While I love the Hyper Marquee, I do want to point out a few things. The Hyper Marquee and the white border for the Sinden Light Guns can cause some issues for certain light gun games, so keep that in mind. And since the 3840 by 720 resolution is higher quality than most of the stock marquees out there, some TLC is needed for some of the wheels. Most of the marquees look solid, but there are some that are low resolution or stretched, and if the naming convention is off or the marquee is missing, you typically get a stretched logo by default, which doesn't look good. Big shout out to Jay from the Arcade One Facebook group, who's been hard at work releasing some terrific high resolution marquee packs for some of the wheels that need that extra attention. I've also signed on to this project to help fill in the gaps and look forward to creating some amazing art. Our goal is to maximize the potential of having a high resolution Hyper Marquee. Currently we're focusing on static images as they take up less space, but video marquees would work as well if you're interested. So while the 43-inch Hyper Marquee is a great addition as is, it's going to keep getting better and better as we fill in more of these high-resolution marquees. Stream Deck. The Stream Deck upgrade is conveniently placed out of the way from your other controls, but still easy to access, and adds a lot of customization ability to your Retro-Cade. There are some stock default settings pre-installed, such as the volume up and down. There's a Tools button that allows quick access to commonly used keyboard commands and functions, so that way you don't need to pull out your keyboard, and there's even a numpad if you need to access that for specific games. There are arrows to navigate the different pages, and the Arcade One button takes you to the Facebook group, website, YouTube channel, and help menus if you need them. There are also hotkeys set up to access system favorites and genre wheels on your system, as well as a quick search button if you need to search for a specific game. There are also some shortcuts that you can set up that let you jump right into a specific game with the press of a button. Let's jump into Street Fighter 2 and see how this works. Once in the game, the Stream Deck options may change depending on the system wheel and game. In Street Fighter 2, you can now access the quick save and quick load options to quickly save and load your game. There are also various save state options, and if the game has multiple bezels for the side artwork, you can easily swap between them with the previous bezel and the next bezel buttons. Another example is jumping into a Super Nintendo game that utilizes retro achievements, so you can easily access the retro arch settings with the press of a button, and then scroll down to the retro achievements menu, and hit select on your control panel to view the list of retro achievements. The Arcade1 YouTube channel has 2 very helpful videos to help you get the most out of your Stream Deck, including one showcasing what it can all do, and a second video showing you how to configure and customize your Stream Deck for yourself. I took the time to watch the videos, followed the steps, and added some games to mine, including Steam games that I can jump right into with the click of the button. The Stream Deck is a fantastic upgrade for those who love to tinker and want to add their own customization to their Retro-Cade. RGB Buttons and LED Blinky.
What's up, guys? Josh here with Retro-Cade. Hey, this is Endgame's cabinet. It's going out to him shortly. I thought while it was here, I'd take the opportunity to show you the RGB buttons and LED Blinky, how that all works. This has got some cool stuff on it. I'm sure he's going to make a video going over it. Full acrylic with Scantron layout. Shout out Scantron. It's a Hyper Marquee. This is our 4-player Elite Pedestal with the drawer. I'm actually going to turn off the lights here just so you can better see the RGB buttons. So, Hyper Marquee with RGB buttons. These buttons light up in thousands of different ways. You get to program them if you wish to make them do whatever, but coming from us, they are programmed for a bunch of the games so that when you go through the list, it'll actually light up and say, hey, this is the button you hit for that. So, right now you're on Donkey Kong. We'll go down here, we're on Donkey Kong 3. It'll say, hey, these 3 are the buttons you need. If you leave it go for half a second, it'll start doing the default again just to demo it. When you go into the game, though, it'll go back to this. Going down through, all these different ones will light up. It's pretty cool. Galaga. So, hey, there's your fire button. Same deal. And Golden Tee, it'll even light up your trackball for you. Say, hey, here's how you change your clubs. You have coin and start. You use the trackball.
Thanks, Josh, for making that video before sending my pedestal out to me. I do wish more LED Blinky was set up out of the box, but with the help of Doug and Jason from the Arcade1 Facebook group, I have been able to set up a few things to my liking, including setting up my default button colors. I decided to go with red buttons for player 3 Phoenix, yellow buttons for player 1 Wolverine. I went with violet for the trackball default color. I decided to go with purple for player 2 Psylocke. And blue for player 4 Cyclops. And last but not least, all the admin buttons I decided to keep a neutral white color. I think my default looks really great on my arcade control panel, whether the lights are turned down on the control panel or if they're pumped up bright. For console games, I like to have all my buttons match the colors of the original controller and also be all lit up at all times, even those not in use. Especially for more modern games where some of the buttons are used for navigating the menus. I use the Xbox controller layout for my default artwork on my control panel, since most modern PC and Steam games utilize the Xbox controller. Then I can take advantage of the customization that LED Blinky offers for the other consoles. Here, button 1X is blue, button 2Y is yellow, button 4A is green, and button 5B is red. Then I prefer to have all of the bumpers and triggers to be mapped to either gray or white as a neutral color. The same goes for the Sony PlayStation games for PlayStation 1, 2, 3, etc. I want the LED Blinky to match the original controller colors. So button 1 square is a magenta color, button 2 triangle is green, button 4X is blue, button 5 circle is red, and the L1, R1, and L2, R2 are all neutral white or gray colors. So even though the control panel artwork has X for button 1, I know that only that artwork is used for the Xbox, PC, and Steam games. The rest I use LED Blinky. And while the Xbox and PlayStation controllers for the most part have stayed consistent over the console generations, Nintendo and Sega have wildly different layouts each generation. NES, for example, only utilizes 2 buttons along with the start and select button, which I like to keep a neutral white color. For LED Blinky, I have button 1B as red and also button 2A as red to match the original controller. I also prefer to have the rest of the buttons turned off completely since the original NES controller only had 2 buttons. Retro-Cade has a lot of the MAME arcade games already mapped, but there are some newer arcade games in Teknoparrot that I do like to map when it makes sense, such as in this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. There's 4 players, and if you join on the control panel in a specific order, player 1 is blue for Leonardo, player 2 is orange for Michelangelo, player 3 is purple for Donatello, and player 4 is red for Raphael. This particular game utilizes only 3 buttons. The first button is for your attack, the second button's for your jump, and the third button's for your special attack. And the rest of the buttons are turned off since they're not in use. Another fun example for LED Blinky is in Power Putt Golf, where the blue buttons position your golfer to the left or to the right, the yellow button shows the aerial view of the course, and the trackball is lit up as that's the swing of your club. With these buttons all lit up, it makes it easy to explain when you have friends and family over to play the game who may not be familiar with it. Retro-Cade offers the full LED Blinky license along with a starter package of stuff pre-configured to get you going, but there is a lot of potential for more for those willing to dig deeper and invest the time into LED Blinky. Why did Retro-Cade partner with Arcade1?
We went through everything. We initially started with pies and became quickly frustrated with them, and we decided we wanted more power, so we went to PCs. And we went through, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 different companies to try and find them. And Carlos over at Arcade1, we were just so impressed with his stuff. I mean, it was just polished and worked out of the box. We didn't have to do a lot of work to make it work, and it just was ideal.
Arcade1's new website showcases all of the standard and premium PCs with the 2TB, 8TB, 20TB, and even 40TB hard drives packed full of quality content. So when you order your Retro-Cade, you can choose what type of Arcade1 you'd like to come pre-installed in your cabinet. My premium PC came strapped down securely inside of the cabinet so it was safe during shipping, and here it is all lit up and powered on. Is the Retro-Cade plug and play?
As close as we could make it, yes. I would say through all the reviews, if you go on YouTube and watch it, that's not faked. I mean, you start a game, it'll pretty much play, yeah.
Another reason to use Arcade1. A lot of guys play the numbers game and put, we got 80,000 games on there, 150, whatever, these crazy numbers they're throwing out there, but when you start clicking on them, they don't actually play. So, yeah, we have a product that we're comfortable putting in your house and it's going to work.
So to that delivery driver who asked, does this play Pac-Man? There's your answer. Yes, it does play Pac-Man. While emulation is never going to be perfect, there are things that are going to pop up from time to time as emulation's constantly evolving, but Arcade1 has stellar reviews for a reason. Carlos at Arcade1 tries to dial everything in as best he can the first time, and he also offers post-purchase support. There are plenty of helpful FAQs and informative videos on his website and on his YouTube channel to help any common issues, fixes, tips, tricks, calibrations, and much more. Do you want to know if a certain controller will work or not? There's likely a video about it. Not sure how to hook up your Wiimotes? There's a video for it. Do you have any questions about light guns, racing wheels, or guitar accessories? There are videos to assist you. The customer service is simply outstanding, but it doesn't end there. The Arcade1 Facebook group has a great community of over 1,000 members that offer support, put on a weekly Arcade1 Game of the Week competition that you can jump into, help out with updates, and so much more. Speaking of updates, you get free updates with your Retro-Cade and Arcade1 purchase, with easy to download and install instructions. Most updates are as simple as this. Download the file to the appropriate drive, right-click on the link, select 7-zip, extract here, yes to all if it asks you to replace anything, run the installer, and then click OK on the pop-up. Delete the extra files, and you're good to go. If there's any additional instructions, Carlos always provides those. So there's no fear of missing out on any of these updates. They're very simple to do yourself, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can always send in your drive, and Carlos will re-image it for you. I have an entire playlist on my YouTube channel dedicated to Arcade1 new updates if you would like to see some examples of what these updates are all about. Arcade 1 40TB PC.
We are in the end game now.
And that's the intro that you'll be greeted to when you fire up Hyperspin. The first wheel that you land on is the Hypersearch Wheel. More on that in a bit. If you go up one wheel, you'll see the Toolkit, which has a lot of helpful items, including configuring your trackball and spinner, start driving with your G29 racing wheel, exiting the Windows desktop if you ever need to go back to the desktop and tinker, favorites manager, fixing MAME sound if you lose sound in a MAME arcade game, fixing game sound for other systems such as Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, fixing X-Patter if you have an issue with that, gun control start and gun control stop if you would like to control your Hyperspin wheel navigation with your light guns, remote session is if you need Josh or Carlos to log in and assist with anything, disable and enable party mode if you want to have a curated wheel when you have guests or kids over. Retro Achievements Wizard is for enabling and disabling the retro achievements as well as logging in. More on that later. Set Windows resolution is very important and needs to be the first step that you do before you play any games and anytime you hook up to a new TV. And the last few items are included for various Xbox 360, Sony PlayStation 4, and Xbox One controllers. Now back to the Hypersearch Wheel. You can search the entire system for all the different games, comic books, magazines, and more. You can use a controller, joystick and buttons, or mouse and keyboard to search. I'm going to type in Street Fighter and do a search of the entire system. There are 149 entries for various systems, including arcade games, console games, handheld games, pinball, and even fan-made games such as Mugen and Open Board. When you find the game you want, you can select the game and it'll boot automatically into the game. Be patient while the game performs their initial load, as some games and systems take longer to load than others. Once in the game, you can hit the coin button and start playing the game that you selected. One of the more popular wheels is the Arcade Classics wheel, or MAME wheel, which has thousands of classic arcade games that play great with joystick and buttons on your Retro-Cade. You can manually scroll game by game with your joystick, or you can hold right on the joystick to bring up a letter search to quickly go to a specific letter. Each wheel has its own individual favorites wheel, so let's add Marvel vs. Street Fighter to the Arcade Classics favorite wheel by clicking the favorites button and then add to favorites. And if you want to remove a game from your favorites, you can easily do so. You can also view your favorite games list in each individual wheel as well. Arcade Classics and many other system wheels have genre wheels as well that categorize games into specific sub-wheels within Arcade Classics or that system to not clutter up the main Hyperspin wheel. These genre categories include specific publishers such as Capcom, Konami, Namco, and Sega, as well as focus on playing 3 or 4 players on control panel, controllers, or a mix of both. Other genres include beat-em-ups, boxing, fighters, football, horse racing, pool and darts, shoot 'em ups, skiing, spinner games, trackball games, and even wrestling games. Let's go back up and click on the twin joystick wheel, which has a bunch of games that can be configured to 2 joysticks depending on your control panel layout if you have 2 players or 4 players. And let's go into Smash TV, which by default is set up for 2-player cabinets where the joysticks for players 1 and 2 move the characters, and then there's 4 buttons that are configured to fire the weapons depending on which direction you want to shoot. Which does work, but if you'd rather configure it more arcade accurate where the 2 joysticks move and fire your weapons, you sure can, and I'm going to show you how. If you have a 2-player cabinet, you can configure player 1 joystick to move and player 2 joystick to fire in any direction. Or if you have a 4-player cabinet like I do, you can configure player 3 joystick to move player 1 and player 1 joystick to fire for player 1, and then player 2 joystick to move player 2 and player 4 joystick to fire for player 2. To set this up, hit pause in your control panel, then tab on your keyboard and go into input settings. Then input assignments this system to configure only this game. Then go through each fire and move button on player 1 and map it to the same direction for each joystick. Again, that's player 1 joystick for the fire, player 3 joystick for the movement, and then repeat this process for player 2. which would be player 4 joystick for fire and player 2 joystick for movement. Once you're all done and you have the controls the way you want them, you can go ahead and test them out by scrolling down to return to previous menu, and then scroll down again to return to previous menu, and then close menu. And now you can play Smash TV with 2 joysticks instead of the pre-configured joystick and buttons. You can do this for all the other games under this wheel as well, and keep this tab settings tip in mind if you ever want to change any other controls in any of the other MAME Arcade Classic games. Another quick tip, if the game has multiple bezels, you can use the Z and X keyboard keys to swap the previous and next bezels for the side bezel art, which is a nice touch. There are also keys pre-configured for the optional Stream Deck upgrade. While there are individual system favorites for each system, there's also a global favorites wheel on the main wheel where you can add all of your favorite games from all the different systems easily here. When you first enter the wheel, you'll only see the Favorites Manager icon. Click on that, and it'll pop up the Arcade Favorites Manager window, where you can add to favorites, remove from favorites, and swap artwork, which is used if the box art and game art are swapped in the wrong order on the game theme. I'll show you how easy it is to add your favorite games. You can use a mouse and keyboard, or the trackball and the mouse buttons on your Retro-Cade. I already showed you how to add Smash TV to your MAME Arcade Classics favorite wheel. Now this is how to add it to the global favorites wheel. Type in or scroll down to MAME. It takes a moment to populate the games, so just be patient. Then type in Smash. Click on the game, and click Add to Game. When the pop-up window pops up, click OK. Let's go ahead and add a few more games. There's a 4-player games wheel that has a lot of 3 and 4-player games, such as Alien vs. Predator and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade. Let's add both of those to my favorites games wheel. Then let's type in SNK for the Neo Geo and add one of the many Metal Slug games. Next up, let's add a Super Nintendo game. Let's look for Super Castlevania and add it. Then let's also add a Sega Genesis game. How about Streets of Rage 2? Next up, let's add a PC game. How about Blazing Chrome, which is a run and gun shooter inspired by Contra. And for the last game, let's add a Teknoparrot subscription game, which you will need a Teknoparrot subscription in order to play, but more on that later. Let's add Golden Tee Live 2013. Once you have all your games, click Finish. Then exit the favorites wheel completely so all the games can populate the wheel. Then re-enter the wheel, and all of your games should be there, along with any logos, videos, themes, box art, bezels, and if you do have a Hyper Marquee, it'll also pull the appropriate marquee, which is a very nice touch. And while the individual system favorites is nice to have for all of your favorites on those particular systems, but also having this global favorites wheel where all the games from all the different systems can be added is a fantastic feature to easily jump in and out of your favorite games across all the multiple systems. If you do need to remove a game, it's as simple as clicking on the Favorites Manager. Click on Remove from Favorites, and then select the game that you'd like to remove. Let's remove Streets of Rage 2. Click Remove Game, hit Yes, click OK, hit Finish, then exit the wheel completely so it can repopulate the games, then re-enter, and Streets of Rage 2 will no longer be on your global favorites wheel. It's that simple. Spinner games. If you get the optional spinner upgrade for your Retro-Cade, you are able to control certain games with the spinner, which can rotate a full 360 degrees if necessary. Here's a quick look at some of the games under the MAME Spinner genre wheel. I don't want to take up too much time, so feel free to pause the video if you want to get a closer look at this list. And here's some quick gameplay of Arkanoid being played with the spinner. Another fun spinner game is Iron Man Ivan Stewart's Super Off-Road. I even found a game under the Psycho wheel called Gun Barrage that was set up for joystick and buttons, but could easily be played with the spinner if you'd prefer. Go into the game and configure it for the spinner, hit the tab button on the keyboard, go to Input Settings, click on Input Assignments, this system, and go to P1 left, and you can click Enter to input and move the spinner to the left, and then do the same for P1 right, but this time move the spinner to the right. Once finished, you can scroll down to Return Previous Menu, and then scroll down to Return Previous Menu, and then scroll down to Close Menu, and now you can play your game with either your joystick or your spinner. Trackball games. I have an RGB Ultimark trackball on my Retro-Cade Elite Pedestal to play the various trackball games from the MAME arcade classics to Teknoparrot subscription. The top of my trackball sits about 10.5 inches away from the bottom edge of the Hyper Marquee. I haven't had any issues hitting the screen with full rolls of the trackball, but I'll show you a few so you can judge for yourself and also hear the roll of the trackball. And here's a quick look at some of the games under the MAME trackball genre wheel. Again, feel free to pause the video if you're looking for some specific games. There are even more trackball games under other wheels as well. For example, the older Golden Tees will be here under the MAME wheel, but some of the newer versions will be under the Teknoparrot subscription wheel, which I'll show in a little bit. Shoes is a fun horseshoe tossing game from Atari released back in 1990 that plays great with the trackball.
No! Just right.
Shuffle Shot is a fantastic team-based versus game with various takes on shuffleboard, and a go-to game of mine when friends come over and can get very competitive at times.
Player one, you're up. Hey, it's the hanger! Oh, hey. Last puck. Last puck, eh?
Super Monkey Ball Ticket Blitz is a Sega Ring trackball game that you'll find located under the Teknoparrot wheel, where you can earn Retro-Cade and Arcade 1 tickets that you can cash in for a variety of prizes if you have the ticket dispenser upgrade. While kidding, this isn't the worst idea out there. And from my experience, it's going to be a lot easier winning a Retro-Cade cabinet on a D. Thomas from NC livestream than it is to make that monkey ball in that jackpot ring.
Game over.
Next up, I'm going to show you some of the standout trackball games in my opinion on the system. But they do currently require a small monthly Teknoparrot subscription fee in order to play, but the Teknoparrot subscription games do get freed up over time, so you can wait if you don't want to pay for it. First up is Golden Tee Live 2014, which features 5 new courses and 40 classic courses that you can play solo or up to 4 players.
Ready at the tee, it's Golfer 1.
This one could burn up.
And if you have a bad shot that ruins your day, you can always go into the options, click the mulligan tab, and then retry that shot.
On tee now, Golfer 1. Birdied that one. Well, another exciting round of Golden Tee golf. Let's take a look at some of my Jim Nantz Golden Tee moments of the game. With this, the band began to play. The thrills continued with this. But the show wasn't over just yet. Not every shot goes as planned. And then we saw this.
Power Putt Live 2013 is another must-play trackball game with friends and family. There are 10 unique courses, 18 holes each, and there's even an option for Raw Talk that you can turn on and off. If you want to see full gameplay with uncensored Raw Talk, I have over 2 hours of content on my channel. Check out the link in the description below.
After 5 holes. Player 2 grips the putter. Player 3 grips the putter. Player 4 is next. Holy! Let's study that shot again. Wow, there's a golf putt. Player 1 for birdie. Player 2 has this for birdie. Player 3 needs this for birdie. Player 2 trying for par. After 6 holes.
Another fun trackball game is Target Toss Pro Lawn Darts or Bags, where you can play either various versions of lawn darts or bags. For this video, we're going to play lawn darts, where the red dot bonus increases each round, so you can get some crazy comebacks out of nowhere.
Here we are at the start of the 7th. Player 1 eyes the target. Ahead by 6. Here it comes. Didn't find it with that shot. In for 1. Pop one up on the scoreboard. Player 2, dart in hand. And the win meter reads 6. 1 inside. Misses. Player 3, dart in hand. Watch his toss. Nails the center for 35 points. Hits the bonus, 35 points. Kazowie! 35-point bonus for the red zone.
And the last trackball game that I'm going to highlight is Silver Strike Bowling Live, which is another great competitive trackball game, and even has a random frame red pin bonus strike opportunity that pops up once per game that dials up the pressure.
Let her rip. Now we're getting somewhere. Tremendous. One more time. Let's look at that strike. Now that is a beautiful ball. Ball 1. There's some horsepower. 8 down, 2 up. He's looking for some real accuracy. Nicely done. He's holding back a little on this shot. Whoa. Uh-oh, it's the 5-pin taboo. Don't choke. He makes the 5-pin. We're at the top of frame 8. It's pinpoint time. You got it! Wow, here's that great strike again. That is great.
Light gun games.
Currently, we are using Sinden Light Gun recoil. We've used those for years. We really like them. In the very near future, we'll be switching to the retro shooters. They function very similar to the Gun 4 IR, where you have IRs in the corner. They're very accurate, and we really like them. like I said, we've used Sindens for years, and we like them. They are a little more difficult to deal with being out of England, just trying to get parts and stuff like that. We will be switching to the Retros in the next couple months. We feel they're going to be a better, more stable product for our customers.
Retro-Cade currently uses the Sinden Light Guns, which do have nice accuracy and additional buttons, which do allow a few of the more complex light gun games to be played easier, as Carlos has those controls dialed in. The arcade one does come with the aim track gun game wheel, but it will be hidden on your Retro-Cade since Retro-Cade doesn't support the aim tracks directly. It is there if you do have a set and you do want to play it. I would recommend getting the larger extreme sensor bar though. The gun game Sinden wheel will be included with your Retro-Cade purchase, as currently the Sindens are the standard for Retro-Cade, as they are more accurate than the aim tracks and do include more buttons. I have the recoil version with the pump handle that you can use to reload your guns, and it's awesome to play those big buck hunter games or other games that have a shotgun reload mechanic. There are some drawbacks to the Sindens, however, as it does require a white border on screen at all times, so depending on what the lighting situation is in your room, it may cause issues with certain games. And for Hyper Marquee owners like myself, I did come across some games that had issues with the Hyper Marquee and the white border conflicting with each other, so I reached out to Carlos from Arcade 1 to see what's going on with these games and if there's any workarounds. He worked on some fixes for many of those games and got them working properly, but some of them still have some issues. And the last Gun Games wheel is the Retro Shooter and Gun for IR Gun Games wheel on the Arcade 1, and it's currently being updated with free updates. Retro-Cade is moving towards the Retro Shooters for the new standard going forward, which uses sensors that you place around your TD for improved accuracy, and also has implementation of Hook of the Reaper for games that support it, where the solenoids and feedback of the gun match the in-game action. I haven't had a chance to try out the Retro Shooters myself, but I've heard great things so far, and I am hoping to get my hands on a pair soon so I can test them out and see how well they work with the Retro-Cade Elite Pedestal. And there's even a foot pedal that comes with them where you can duck in and out behind cover like games such as Time Crisis. And if you dig even deeper, there's even a gun game genre wheel that splits all the different games into the different categories of systems that they released on. So if you're looking for only Nintendo Wii gun games, you can find them here. Same goes for PC gun games, or even the arcade games such as Sega Model 2, Sega Model 3, and other console games such as PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and various other consoles and arcade games. So if you're ever in the mood to play all the games from one system, for example Teknoparrot, you can dive into the genre wheel, click on the Teknoparrot wheel, and then play all the Teknoparrot gun games on your Retro-Cade. And with over 360 light gun games on your system, you have a wide variety to choose from. There's classic franchises like Time Crisis, one of my all-time favorites, on home console and arcade.
Action! Halt! Action! Get him! Clear! Fire! Action! Action! Action!
Carnival is another classic arcade shooter that utilizes shotguns, perfect for the pump action reload mechanic on your Sindens.
Welcome to the haunted house. Meet a ghoul who lost her head. If you'd like to stay and join us, you're always welcome, alive or dead.
And of course, the entire The House of the Dead franchise is well represented, including the new modern remake.
Reload! Help!
Go inside. Help them.
Reload! Sophie? Reload!
Rogan! It's you!
Sophie!
There are quite a few big Buck Hunter games, ranging from the classics to the more modern versions, that are great to play solo or co-op, and some even include some fun minigames.
Welcome to Elk Adventure. You got him. You got another. That's all of them. You got three bulls. Good elk hunting. Garden gnome bonus.
There are a lot of great gallery shooters like Nerf Arcade that are fun multiplayer games that families and children can play together if you're looking for something a little bit more family friendly.
Player 2, go! The Judge! Time bonus! Crack shot! Time bonus! Bonus! Bullseye! Time for the lightning round. Get ready for drone hanger.
Some other popular games among the children are Fruit Ninja 1 and 2, where you can use the gun to slice and dice by holding down the trigger and trying to beat the high score. Another fun gallery shooter for those fans of the Wild West is Wild West Shootout that can be played single player or two-player co-op.
Load up, take aim, go! Ow!
Be careful! Thank you! Be careful!
And there's plenty of fan-favorite action-packed arcade games such as Raw Thrills Jurassic Park Arcade, Terminator Salvation, and Aliens Armageddon.
Shockable. Amber bonus. Great. Great. We're setting the trap. Nice. Shoot the target! Dinosaur capture. Mission accomplished. Come on home.
While some Light Gun games are short and sweet, others like Tomb Raider have a lengthy campaign with story cutscenes, collectible treasures to find, and much more.
Can anybody hear me? This is Lara. I found shelter on the coast. If you hear this, try and get to me. Be careful, we are not alone.
And as new Light Gun games are released, they'll be added as free updates like the recently added Mission Impossible Arcade.
Keep moving. Use the sticky bomb to bust the lock.
Red light, green light.
Enemy neutralized.
Now, get going.
Whoa!
Search the compartment.
There's just the transmitter here.
He must be close.
Grenade!
Enemy on the left! Enemy behind! Aim for the
What
head.
is this guy, bulletproof? What?
Agent found!
There are a handful or two worth of Light Gun games that are currently under the Teknoparrot subscription wheel that do require a fee to play them, but they do get freed up over time, so you can play them right away if you want for a fee, or wait and get them for free.
Get up.
What's wrong?
The
fence is down. We gotta go. That way. Jason! You okay?
I'm all right. We have to find the others.
Here's someone!
Help me! We gotta move.
Okay. He's in trouble!
We need to get across the walkway. Come on.
Teknoparrot subscription. While 99.99% of the games are included with your initial purchase, there is one wheel that you do need to pay roughly $6 a month if you would like to access these games, and they would be under the Teknoparrot subscription wheel. I'll quickly go through this wheel and show you what's currently on the Teknoparrot subscription wheel, but think of this wheel as like a Netflix or a streaming service, as this wheel does change often as new games are added monthly, and then some games are taken away and freed up, so they're removed from this wheel and put in their appropriate wheel. I do have a video on my channel discussing if Teknoparrot subscription is worth $6 a month or not, so make sure you check that out if you're on the fence and would like to know more about this Teknoparrot subscription, how it works, and what games could be available. The Trackball games that I discussed earlier definitely make it worth it for me, but there are also some light gun games and racing games that are enjoyable to play as well. All the games under this Teknoparrot subscription wheel are either controller-based or control panel-based, where you can play them with joystick and buttons. If you do have a Teknoparrot subscription and want to play games with your light guns or your G29 racing wheel, you'll actually have to go under the light gun games wheel or the racing games wheel and locate the games that have this orange Teknoparrot subscription text added to the logo. Once the game is freed up, like Aliens Armageddon or Terminator Salvation were in the past, Carlos will remove the Teknoparrot subscription text and make the games playable for free. Here are the current Teknoparrot subscription gun games. Retro Achievements. A fun addition to the Retro-Cade is having the ability to earn retro achievements on some of the games from the older consoles that never had them previously. You have to go to retroachievements.org, I'll put the official link in the description below, and sign up for a free account. Then go to the Toolkit in your Arcade One and log in and start earning those retro achievements. There are quite a few systems that are currently supported on your Retro-Cade, such as the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, the Nintendo Game Boy, the Sony PlayStation, and even the Atari Jaguar, with more potentially coming in the future as free updates for Nintendo GameCube, Sony PlayStation 2, PSP, Sega Dreamcast, and more. You can always check on the official website which games are supported, as not all games are currently supported, or if you enter the game, you'll get a pop-up notification letting you know how many retro achievements are possible, and then once you unlock a retro achievement, it'll pop up on screen and be added to your account, which you can always check in-game with the press of a button on your Stream Deck or by hitting tab on your keyboard. Or you can always check online on your online profile at retroachievements.org. Retro achievements can be unlocked organically by just playing the games, or you can challenge yourself and tackle some of the more difficult challenges and earn a retro achievement as a badge of honor. think the retro achievements are such a great idea. Shout out to the community that brought these to life, and thanks for adding them to the Arcade 1 and Retro-Cade. Nintendo Wii accessories. My Retro-Cade Elite Pedestal came with 2 Wiimotes, 2 nunchuck attachments, and a Dolphin sensor bar so that I can play all the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo WiiWare games as they were originally intended. I also have tested various other accessories that I had from my original Nintendo Wii, such as the gun attachment and even the classic controller. While the Nintendo Wii is known for having a lot of shovelware games, the Wii also had some standout great games as well. And depending on the game, you may need to use the Wiimote paired with the nunchuck. Other games used only the Wiimote for a lot of motion controls. Other games you had to turn the Wiimote sideways in order to play. Some worked better with the classic controller, and others worked really good with some of those attachments such as the steering wheel or the gun attachment. You could even configure some of the games to work on your control panel with joystick and buttons if you'd like. But of course, most of the games do focus on the motion controls, which work just as you remember from back in the day, as long as you have those Wiimotes paired with that Dolphin bar. One of my favorite Wii exclusive games is Punch-Out, which can be played with motion controls or with classic controls. This version of Punch-Out includes title defense mode, where you defend your title against all the opponents, except this time they come back with additional moves and are a lot tougher to beat. Let's see if I can take down Glass Joe.
Bonjour, bonjour. Right. Vive la France! Hey!
1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, come on. Fight.
Oh no!
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Come on, come on. Fight. TKO.
Great fighting, Mac. Scratch that. Super fighting, Mac. You ready for the next challenge?
And don't forget to check out the WiiWare wheel, as there's some new entries in the classic franchises, such as Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. Another WiiWare exclusive is Contra Rebirth. Another WiiWare exclusive is Excitebike World Rally. And for anyone struggling to take down Glass Joe, you can train with Doc Lewis and Doc Lewis's Punch-Out, a WiiWare exclusive.
Get ready to study hard, Mac. This is called old school. Keep it clean. Dodge. No, go. Oh, come on. Ouch, Mac. Block this. Oh, go. Come on. That's the one I taught you. Duck this one. Wow. Go. Oh, come on. Oh. That was a big mosquito. Duck this one. Huh? Go. Oh. I telegraph that. Block this. What? Go. I telegraph that. Block this. Huh? Come on. Oh. You're too fast. Dodge. Oh, go. Go. Oh. That's the one I taught you. Duck this one. Wow. Oh. Nice one. I'm proud of you, son. But are you ready for the next lesson?
Uh-huh.
Racing Games Wheel. There's a dedicated Racing Games Wheel with over 200 games that are plug and play with the G29 Racing Wheel. Some games use the driving shifter, and a lot of them also include force feedback. Retro-Cade has a video on their YouTube channel explaining how you can easily attach the G29 Racing Wheel to the front of your control panel, which is a great option in my opinion. But I didn't try this out since I already have mine installed with the GT Omega Apex wheel stand, which is a very sturdy and durable stand. I will put a link in the description below in case you want to check it out. To get started, it's as simple as plugging in the G29 Racing Wheel into the wall and into the USB port on the front of your Retro-Cade. Once it stops spinning, go into the toolkit and hit start driving. Once the wheel stops spinning and the pop-up menu goes away, you're good to go. You can exit the toolkit, scroll down on the main menu until you get to the Racing Games wheel. Once there, you can play any of those 200 plus racing games, plug and play with your G29 Racing Wheel. There's even a handy Teknoparrot Driving Wizard desktop shortcut that sets up all of your Teknoparrot driving games for you. Batman from Raw Thrills is a terrific racing game with force feedback that features 15 missions plus 3 boss battles and 10 iconic Batmobiles to choose from.
Greetings, Batman. Select your mission.
The Joker!
Select your Batmobile.
Say, Bats, I'm hosting a little soiree this evening, and I'd just love for you to be there. I promise it'll be a blast!
Batman, the Joker's men are transporting nuclear equipment into the city.
I won't allow that, Commissioner. Somebody do
Mission complete.
I did a little redecorating around town, Batman. I do hope you approve. I'm afraid not, Scarecrow.
There's a variety of cruising games on here. My favorite is Cruisin' Blast. You can play the arcade or the console version. Here's the arcade from Raw Thrills.
Select the track.
Death Valley.
Select your car.
Lamborghini Veneno.
Select your upgrade.
Engine upgrade. Welcome to Death Valley.
Ready, set, go!
place.
The Racing Games wheel also includes some console and kart racing games as well, such as this Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled game, which is a lot of fun and even has a story mode. And there's a variety of different types of racing games, including focuses on snowmobiles, monster trucks, motorcycles, and even boats like this H2 Overdrive, which even allows you to save your progress and also unlock achievements.
Choose your track. Wild America. Choose your boat. Raw Thrills. 3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
Boosters deployed.
Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and Clone Hero. While there are many guitars that will work with Clone Hero and the Guitar Hero and Rock Band wheel, I still had my Rock Band Fender Stratocaster and Guitar Hero 2 Explorer wired guitars, so I watched the setting up video on the Arcade1 YouTube channel, and I'm ready to rock. There's a dedicated Clone Hero wheel on the main Hyperspin wheel. Enter that wheel, then plug in your guitar. I happen to use the Guitar Hero 2 Explorer guitar since it's my personal favorite. Then create your profile by pressing start on the guitar. This profile will save all of your settings and all your star rankings on all the songs that you play. You can then enter Quick Play, where you can manually scroll through all 2,700 plus songs from all the various Guitar Hero and Rock Band games, all in one convenient location, or you can search by individual game if you'd like. So let's say you're looking for just the songs from Rock Band 2. You can skip to that section and just play those songs if you'd like. You can also search by your favorite artist. So let's say you want to play just Ozzy Osbourne songs. Rest in peace, Ozzy, you're one of my favorite all-time artists. You'll see that there's multiple versions of some of the songs, such as the Guitar Hero version, as well as the Rock Band 3 version. Some of these versions may be easier or harder, depending on the version of the song. The gameplay is similar to Rock Band or Guitar Hero, and the star power works great. Clone Hero supports drums, although I haven't tested them yet, but does not support vocals as far as I know. The backgrounds will vary, as some of them have performances from Guitar Hero or Rock Band, while others are more generic looking. Either way, it's a blast to be able to play all these amazing songs in one location, solo or co-op. There's a dedicated Guitar Hero and Rock Band wheel for configuring your guitars to play over 20 popular Guitar Hero and Rock Band games, including the band-specific games like Aerosmith, Green Day, Metallica, and the Beatles. These games are currently a mix of upscaled Wii and PlayStation 2 versions of the games. I hope in the future we get upgraded even further to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions. I did try out both of my guitars with these games, and it seems like my Explorer guitar worked better with the PlayStation 2 games, while the Stratocaster guitar worked better with the Nintendo Wii games. The star power tilt works perfectly on the Clone Hero, however for these games it can be a little touchy, so you might need to experiment with it a little in the configuration settings. There's a video on the Arcade1 YouTube channel going over the recommended guitars. While Clone Hero offers the ease of access of having all the songs from all the games in one convenient location, the Guitar Hero and Rock Band wheel is all about nostalgia, of playing the games the way they were originally intended, playing through the career mode, creating your band, selecting your difficulty, unlocking characters, outfits, guitars, and more, and then playing through the gigs and set list, unlocking those songs as you go. With all emulation, it's not perfect, and you can have little issues here or there, but when it's dialed in and it works, it's a very enjoyable experience. I've only tested the guitars so far, but supposedly drums and vocals do work, even though they're not officially supported by the Arcade1 or the Retro-Cade. You can look up online and maybe get these to work, as that would be fantastic, as Rock Band's all about the 4-player co-op experience as the band travels the globe, playing set lists, gaining stars and fans, and playing those encores in a very meaty world tour mode. So if you're a longtime fan of the music rhythm genre like I am, or if you're new to the genre and want to experience it for the first time, you can by playing a bunch of songs and even downloading new songs to Clone Hero, or you can relive some of those classic Rock Band and Guitar Hero games as they were originally intended. Either way, Retro-Cade and Arcade1 have you covered. PC Games and Good Old Games expansion. There are over 5,000 PC games on the Retro-Cade Arcade1, with close to 4,200 games being added with the 40TB expansion. PC games can vary from controller games to joystick and button games to even mouse and keyboard games. The PC Games expansion wheel is new and adds over 1,400 PC games. With there being so many games, Carlos hasn't fine-tuned them yet, so you will have to set up some of them the way that you'd like, but Carlos could release updates in the future. I prefer to set arcade-style games to my control panel with joystick and buttons with a program called Keyboard 2X Input, which I have a video showing you how to do this on my channel. For controller and keyboard and mouse games, I tend to play those the way that they're originally intended with the controller or the keyboard and mouse. Let's take a quick look at this PC Games expansion wheel. I'll end up doing a follow-up video of the entire 40TB with all the new stuff, as there's so much content to cover, and I've already been going on for almost 2 hours. For the Assassin's Creed games, you're going to want to use a controller. Let's do a search by letter and jump to the letter F to see what sort of games are available. You got the Fear series, you also have the Far Cry series here. I also see this Fight and Rage, which is a great example of a game you're going to want to map to your Retro-Cade joystick and buttons, so you can either do that in-game or you can use that Keyboard 2X input like I told you earlier. And here we have some racing games like Forza Horizon 5. This is an example of where this won't be mapped to the G29 racing wheel. You'll have to use a controller or mouse and keyboard, but hopefully in the future, there'll be a new update adding some of these PC games to the racing games wheel, complete with G29 racing wheel support. Let's jump ahead to another game, Mayhem Brawler. So this is what the default theme is going to look like on the wheel, but you can always add your own game-specific themes if you'd like. I already mapped this one to my Retro-Cade, so let's take a look at what the updated version of Mayhem Brawler with all the extra character DLC looks like.
Or what? You gonna eat us?
I don't eat junk food.
PC Games Playnite is another new wheel featured on the 40TB expansion, which has over 1,000 PC games on it. This wheel uses a different interface completely from Hyperspin, so you'll want to use your controller to navigate the menus, and when you find a game that you want to play, click on it, and then load into the game. Let's try Angry Birds Rio. So this game uses a mouse to play, as it's a simple point, drag, and click game, so you're going to have to utilize the mouse for this one. Since these are PC games, each game should have a way to exit the game back to Playnite. So go back to the main menu, and then click on the door to exit the game. Now you can manually scroll to the next game that you want to play. Or you can hit Y on your Xbox controller to bring up the search, which I'm going to search for a game called Shinrubi, which is a fun shmup game. I'm going to jump ahead. There's multiple characters that you can pick with different ships and different firepower options. I'm going to select one, and then I'm going to jump ahead to a boss battle. To exit this game, pause it, scroll down to Quit Game, and then exit to Main Menu, and then exit to Desktop. Once you're back in the main menu of Playnite, you can always exit back to Hyperspin if you want by hitting the Game Options button, which is the menu button on your Xbox controller, and then you can scroll down to exit Playnite, and you're going to be back in your main Hyperspin wheel. The GOG wheel, or better known as the Good Old Games wheel, has always been a staple of the Arcade 1, and it features 340 plus PC games, but new to the 40TB expansion is the GOG Playnite wheel, with over 1,000 more PC games added. This wheel is similar to the PC Games Playnite wheel, so I'm not going to go too in depth here, as I will cover this wheel in a future video. It does look like there's some duplicate games here from some of the other PC Games wheels, so I do hope those get cleaned up in a future update. There are plenty of quality new games to try out though as well. And while I can't show you all 5,000 plus PC games on the 40TB, I'm going to highlight a few of them before I move on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a modern take on the beat-em-up genre with up to 6 player support on your Retro-Cade. You can do 4 players on the control panel with joystick and buttons, and then players 5 and 6 with Xbox controllers, and it's a blast. Iron Meat is a run-and-gun co-op action game that is a must-play for fans of the Contra franchise. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Revenge is another beat-em-up that plays great when mapped to your Retro-Cade control panel and supports up to 5-player co-op.
It's go time! Yeah, like that!
And while there are plenty of quality fighting games on here, such as Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, Injustice, and Soul Calibur to name a few, the Tekken franchise has always been one of my favorites, and Tekken 8 is a solid entry in the series.
Anna Williams.
Time to talk.
Get ready for the next battle.
On this, my sword I swear, to shield the Firebird's flame forevermore.
I'm only interested in my inferior half. This won't take long.
Final round. Fight. Fantasy here is yours! You win. Denying the inevitable, as we always have and always will.
40 terabyte Hyperspin main wheel. While I already covered a lot of ground with a 40 terabyte drive, I barely scratched the surface. So I'm going to quickly scroll through the entire Hyperspin main wheel of the 40 terabyte and add in some additional comments. If you have any questions, you can always pause the video, jot down your question, and leave it in the comments down below. And I'll do my best to answer the question or reach out to Josh, Ed, or Carlos for you. The vertical main wheel has over 800 classic arcade games pre-configured for vertical display if you happen to have one of those TVs that you can rotate, where you can get even more on-screen real estate for those schmucks. The Cade wheel allows you to play various arcade and home console games online with others with a free account. For the most part, Carlos likes to keep the main wheel clutter-free, which is why he has genre wheels within the system wheels. But some of the standout arcade systems he does have specific wheels for, such as Cade, Saikyo, and the Capcom CPS system boards. The Daphne wheel focuses on Laserdisc games, while the Daphne Singe wheel has additional enhanced versions of these Laserdisc games. The Teknoparrot wheel is a standout wheel with a lot of great arcade games. The Teknoparrot subscription wheel I discussed previously does require a subscription fee to access. A lot of these specific arcade system board wheels like Sega Model 2 and Sega Model 3 will allow you to play the games with joystick and buttons or controller under these specific wheels, but they'll also have these games playable under the gun games or racing games wheels to play with the appropriate peripherals as well. And as discussed previously, depending on your light gun of choice, there are dedicated light gun wheels for aim tracks, retro shooter and gun for IR, as well as the Sindens, with 360 plus gun games with more on the way. And there's a dedicated racing games wheel featuring a growing list of over 200 games that are plug and play with the G29 racing wheel. I'm going to circle back to Mugen and open bore wheels in a little bit, but first I wanted to talk about the 8 wheels jam-packed full of 1,500 pinball tables with plenty of classic tables you may have played in the arcade, the movie theater, or the bar back in the day, as well as some newly created ones. There are buttons mapped for the plunger, flippers, and nudges on your Retro-Cade control panel, or you can opt for the side pinball buttons for an even more authentic experience. These pinball wheels are definitely worth checking out, as there's so many different tables from all of your favorite franchises, you never know what you're going to find and which one's going to be a blast to play and try to rack up that top score. As stated earlier, there are over 5,000 PC games across the different PC Games wheels, including the new 40TB PC Games Expansion wheel and the PC Games Playnite wheel. And there's a bunch of fun party game wheels coming up, including the Guitar Hero and Rock Band wheel, as well as the Clone Hero wheel for those music rhythm fans. And if you grab yourself a dance pad, you can get your groove on with Step Mania, which has its own dedicated wheel. And if you're a big fan of touchscreen gaming, you're in for a treat, as the Mega Touch, PopCap, and Big Fish wheels are brought to life with mouse and trackball support. Included in those 5,000 plus PC games is the Good Old Games wheel, as well as the new to the 40TB Good Old Games Playnite wheel. You can do more on your Retro-Cade than just game. You can test your knowledge of arcade music. There's a jukebox you can add your own music to. And there's an MTV video jukebox with hundreds of music videos you can watch and listen to in the background as you entertain your guests. There are even dedicated magazines and comic book wheels with over 16,000 magazines and comic books, including classics like Electronic Gaming Monthly, GamePro, Nintendo Power, PC Gamer, and even Sega Visions for the magazines, as well as comic books such as Avengers, the X-Men, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and many more. I have a video that I will link in the description below where I talk more about the magazines and comic book wheels, as well as those Guitar Hero wheels when they were added to the Arcade 1 in the new update video. All of the classic handhelds and consoles are well represented here, which it's fun just to cycle through the different wheels and enjoy all the artwork and videos of the games, find some hidden gems, forgotten favorites, or bucket list games, and add them to your favorites wheel and play them at your leisure. The eShops that have long been shut down and the international exclusives are also here to try out. There are numerous hack games wheels, which feature classic games with mods or different elements to them. The Nintendo 3D Send wheel adds a three-dimensional element to the old school Nintendo games. And circling back to the Mugen and OpenBore wheels that I discussed before, those wheels focus on fan-made 2D fighting and beat-em-up genres, where the creators often take characters, levels, and game elements from different franchises, and sometimes they create their own new elements and mix them together to enhance old experiences or create a brand new game altogether. There are more demos and half-baked ideas, which aren't the best, but when a creator is hitting on all cylinders, like some of Z-Bitter's games, you can't help but get a big grin on your face as you experience a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Mortal Kombat vs. Street Fighter, Resident Evil, or even He-Man and the Masters of the Universe game that you never played before because it never existed before. If you're interested in these OpenBore games, I have a 10 top OpenBore games video on my channel. Definitely check that out. I'll put a link in the description below. The Wii and WiiWare wheels work with the Wiimotes, nunchucks, and accessories for that motion-based waggle support. While Sega no longer makes home consoles, you can relive the nostalgia here as they are all represented in full force. And as I discussed earlier in this video, a lot of the classic consoles now support retro achievements on your Retro-Cade Arcade 1, so you can relive some of your favorite games and franchises all over again, earning those retro achievements along the way. So if you hit the jackpot in the Casino Night Zone and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, you get a retro achievement for it. Or you can finally prove to your friends that you took down Streets of Rage 2 on the hardest difficulty without using any continues or extra lives cheats, as you would now have a retro achievement to prove it. And if you watched my Arcade 1 20TB PC review video, I mentioned how the Philips CBI wheel was missing at the time. Well, thanks to Kevin, this wheel is now a staple of the Arcade 1 going forward, and of course is included on the 40TB. And as I scroll through the main wheel, we get into some of the more obscure handhelds, consoles, and PC wheels, some of which you may have never heard of before. You can avoid these wheels altogether if you want to just stick to the more popular wheels, or might as well just dive into some of these and discover something new, a new game or series that you never expected you would like, and now all of a sudden it's one of your favorites. Sony is also well represented with their consoles and handhelds, as well as various import titles, some of which have fan-made English translations, which are great for catching up on some of those JRPGs that never came out in North America. Some wheels use save states as a way to save your game, while others that had memory cards back in the day can be saved directly to your PC. Currently, the Xbox is included, but a future expansion will include even more PlayStation 3 games, as well as Xbox 360 and XBLA games, so stay tuned for that. All of your classic Atari systems are included, many of which have the retro achievements implemented with them. We're going real deep into the well here, but old school retro fans are sure to enjoy these vintage systems being included on their Retro-Cade. I had some of these Tiger and Konami handhelds growing up, so while I doubt I'll ever do any long play sessions with any of these again, it did bring a smile to my face just flipping through the different wheels, looking at all the theme artwork for each of the games, and even firing up a few of them for nostalgia's sake, and that's what it's all about. This is a museum to gaming, showcasing all the different consoles, handhelds, PCs, games, and franchises across the years. The good, the bad, and even the ugly. It's all part of the gaming history, and it deserves to be remembered, not lost to time, never to be seen or played again. And the last few wheels of note I already discussed earlier in this video, but they're still very important. They're the global favorites, the Toolkit, and then back to the Hypersearch Wheel. That caps off the entire Hyperspin main wheel on the 40TB Arcade 1 PC. I hope you enjoyed this quick walkthrough of the entire wheel. What makes Retro-Cade stand out from the competition?
A lot. I would say first and foremost, it's our materials. Every single cabinet is made with 9-ply birch plywood that we cut on our CNC machine, and our artwork, we have a UV printer, which nobody else in the industry right now is doing. It is a much stronger, more durable print. Our sound system is the best in the industry, and I can say that without any qualms. It is by far the best sound system out there. The standard Elite 4-player comes with two 6x9s, a 150-watt amplifier, and a 10-inch subwoofer. Nobody else comes even close to that. And I would say that overall our build quality is better than anybody else's out there. We have way more unique features. We just have an immense amount of stuff that is in the package. If you were to compare us, like put us next to all the other builders, it is so easy to pick out which one is better. Just because we are unique and we are constantly striving to make it a better product.
It almost seems like the other guys aren't even trying. Everyone else seems to be trying to build the cheapest cabinet possible with the best margins, the best profits. I really feel like we're the only ones who are really trying to make the best arcade game. I live about 2 miles from here, from the shop, and plenty of times I've woken up in the middle of the night with an idea I'm passionate about. Jump in the car, drive over, I have to start going. Like we text each other constantly with ideas of just, wow, it could be better, it could be better, it could be better. And if you look at our history over the years, our games are constantly getting refined, getting improved. We don't care if something costs a little more money component-wise to make the arcade better. The question is always, what is the best thing that we can do? What's the best product we can put out? And that kind of leaves us all alone. The competition is really just not doing that. And it's a nice place to be. If you're looking for the best cabinet out there, there's really only one place to go.
Final thoughts. The Retro-Cade Elite Pedestal has a premium look and feel to it. It is sturdy, durable, and solid, and holds up to 4 players button mashing away on it. The pull-out drawer drew my attention initially, and it did not disappoint in person. It's a showpiece part of the cabinet for sure. The Retro-Cade is customizable as well, so pick your favorite buttons, joysticks, number of players, and more to fit your budget and your gaming needs. The Retro-Cade arrived fully assembled, so no need to build it yourself or wire it yourself, which is definitely nice. There are lots of great upgrade options, with the 43-inch Hyper Marquee being my favorite, especially when it displays the proper high-resolution artwork. It looks absolutely stunning in my opinion. Speaking of stunning, the artwork really jumps off the cabinet from that new UV printer. I created my own graphics for my pedestal, but Retro-Cade has their own graphic designer that will work with you to craft your vision for your cabinet. Or they do offer a bunch of pre-made options as well. The 5-panel kickplate is another signature feature of the Retro-Cade Elite line that offers easy access to your PC with the front sliding panel and quick USB support if you need it. The flip-up control panel is great for easy access to the buttons and joystick wiring as well. I opted for the full acrylic RGB control panel, which was expensive, but worth it to me because it protects the artwork and makes that artwork really pop with that glossy finish. And the RGB lighting is great too, as it sets the mood for my gaming sessions. The pedestal option allows for mobility as well as larger screen sizes, and in my opinion, bigger is better. The Arcade One 40TB PC offers near limitless entertainment with over 70,000 games, pinball tables, video game magazines, comics, and so much more. The dedicated gun games, racing games, pinball, and Guitar Hero and Rock Band wheels are staples on the Arcade One, and some of my favorite wheels. I love the attention to detail when it comes to adding in retro achievements, bezels, a global favorites wheel, as well as the search and toolkit wheel for additional functionality. There is content for all ages, but it's a blast playing those party games with friends and family, such as the Trackball games and the Wii Motion games. And Carlos goes above and beyond with free lifetime updates and has a Facebook group and YouTube channel full of helpful posts and videos if you need any help. Room for improvement. And while the overall package is outstanding, there are some things that could use some improvements. The Hyper Marquee is an expensive upgrade, so I think there should be some time and effort put into getting as many of those marquees as possible up to that 3840 by 720 resolution to really maximize that impressive 43-inch Hyper Marquee. LED Blinky is a great upgrade, but I would like to see even more arcade games, handhelds, and consoles already pre-configured out of the box, since it can be tricky at times editing that stuff yourself. Carlos has the Sinden Light Guns dialed in and working great overall, but the white border can cause issues for Hyper Marquee owners like myself, so hopefully I can get my hands on a pair of these retro shooters that Retro-Cade is upgrading to see if they are an ideal solution for Hyper Marquee owners. And I know the PC Games expansion and Playnite wheels are new, and Carlos will likely be working on some quality of life improvements for those wheels as free updates in the future. I would definitely like him to focus on the duplicates eventually being removed, as well as adding G29 racing wheel support to those newly added PC racing games. Things to be aware of. Delivery times can be lengthy, 10+ weeks, even more during Christmas, so if you want it by Christmas or a special occasion, make sure you plan accordingly. Prices can add up quickly, especially if you go all out on your Retro-Cade, So I recommend checking out the budget-friendly Classic line as well as the Elite line and factor in your overall budget and what are your gaming needs. I 100% recommend getting all of the upgrades that you really want. I even splurged on a few myself, but don't go overboard if you never plan on using it, because the more moving parts that you have, the more troubleshooting you're gonna have to do if something goes wrong. So only get what you're gonna actually use. Arcade One uses Hyperspin, which isn't supported by the larger community like other front ends are, but Carlos has his version locked in and fully supports it with white glove service, free updates, and more. And remember, at the end of the day, this is emulation. You're gonna come across issues from time to time. So make sure you use the Arcade One Facebook and YouTube resources, and if all else fails, reach out to Josh, Ed, or Carlos, as they should be able to assist you. Promo code. I reached out to Josh from Retro-Cade to see if there's a promo code that I could offer up to my viewers if they were interested in ordering a Retro-Cade after viewing this video. So you can type in Endgame in the notes of your order form, and you'll receive $250 off of a 2-player Elite cabinet or $500 off of a 4-player Elite cabinet. Now I don't get a kickback for this, but it's the least that I could do for you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And that's my 2-hour review for my Retro-Cade Elite Pedestal paired with the 40TB Arcade One Premium PC. I think it's an outstanding product, and I can't wait to play more. If you enjoyed the video, give the video a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to help you get the answers. Check out all my Arcade One new update videos, as well as my Retro-Cade playlist on my channel. And remember to ring that notification bell so you're alerted to all my future content, including my expanded 40TB Arcade One review video that I plan on working on. And thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it. And remember, we're in the endgame now.